What is going on there, guys? Welcome to my first kind of a real and detailed Star Wars The Old Republic guide. I know I made a soloing guide last year, and that was just kind of more like a yapping guide, talking about basically like what are the things you really need, which mostly, as long as you're running a stealth class, soloing is how you'll do it. And I'll kind of give an updated soloing guide probably later on at some point, but we're just going to talk about this as like a new player guide. So this is a guide for if you have if you're just getting into Star Wars: The Old Republic for the first time, or maybe you've stepped away for a long period of time and are just coming back. Then this is a guide for you to be able to use. Now, I know you're going to be looking, if you're an experienced player, you're looking at my character list and you're like, oh my gosh, bro, you hardly even play the game. You don't even have legendary status, blah, 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 blah. That I've been playing this game since Rise of the Hut Cartel came out. I just delete a ton of characters and usually don't stick with them. And that's just my own problem that I'm working through, but I digress on that. I'm not going to stick on that point. Um, and I've also just recently switched servers from Satil Shan over to Starforge. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. We're obviously not going to be creating a level boosted character. If you are new to the game, do not create a boosted character. Okay, I know a lot of people are going to want to jump into endgame. They're going to want to get right into the game, just start like doing things right away. But if you create a boosted character, things will be overwhelming for you. It won't be fun. Don't create a boosted character. You want to just start off, play through your story. Leveling is so fast in this game. It's honestly ridiculous how fast you can get to cap. Like this character that I have up here that's level 70, I've had them for about 3 weeks. I play maybe 2 days a week for about 3-4 hours, and I'm level 70, which is 10 levels away from cap. So it's pretty easy to get up to cap quickly. So don't fret about that aspect of it. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start here at an origin story character, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started here. So obviously, when you're creating a character, you get the choice between Galactic Republic and Sith Empire. If you're a free-to-play character, or even if you're, well, I would hope you're a free-to-play player if you're just starting. Don't sub to the game right away, and I will make a different video on that. But anyways, you get to choose between Galactic Republic or Sith Empire. Basically, this is just for your story purposes and some of the content that you're going to have. If you're playing solo, you can just basically pick whatever one you want. If you're playing with a friend, you're going to want to join whatever faction your friends are with. So if your friends are on Sith Empire, join the Sith Empire. If your friends are on Republic, you'll want to join the Republic. That should be pretty simple. I will recommend that you have, if you're free to play, and I don't know how many character slots free to play get. I think it's still 2, but at the bare minimum, you'll want 1 on each faction, 1 in Republic, 1 in Sith Empire, and that is because there are going to be certain things within the game that you'll find out later on as you progress that are going to be locked behind one faction or the other. So just at the most bare minimum, if you're only going to have 2 characters, make sure you have 1 of each faction. That is my biggest recommendation. For this guide specifically, I am actually making a character that I'm going to be playing as, so I'm going to be picking Galactic Republic for this. So once you get in here, this character creation can be really overwhelming, especially with how we boot up and we get hit with a lightsaber in our face. Holy cow, bro, let's calm down. And obviously, the lightsaber does make it a little difficult. You can't actually... Sir, can you move? You can't even read this. So, anyways, they're going to be... These 2 menus here are the main things to look at right away. Your origin story and your style. We're going to start with the origin story. Origin story is purely the story mode. So what story are you going to be playing through? Are you wanting to do Jedi Knight, which is a little bit brought about here? Champions of Peace and Symbols of Hope in the Dark Times. Jedi Knight stands for the legacy of the Jedi Order. Or Jedi Consular. Visionaries, ambassadors, and seekers of hidden wisdom. Jedi Consulars have worked for millennia to promote peace and balance. Or there's smugglers, quick, clever, and answering to no one. Smugglers know that sometimes luck is more important than skill, but it never hurts to have both. Or trooper. Not all heroes carry lightsabers. Just have the will to fight. Troopers are the bravest and most determined of all. Those are basically the summary of those 4 origin stories here. This is purely the story that you're going to pick. Pick whichever one you want. If you want a little bit more information on that, I can maybe make a guide on that, on which origin story to pick. I'm not focusing too much on that because I actually do have a plan for which one I'm going to be picking for this guide. But that basically just lets you know like what story mode you're going to be playing through when you're playing through your class story mode. Now, if you do eventually sub, I always would recommend you play through all of them. They're all interesting enough, and I think you can find different things out of all of them that you'll enjoy. So eventually, even if you're like, I don't know if I want to play this for the long game, I just want to play a Star Wars RPG, then you can just play through all the origin stories and you'll be good to go. Yeah, there's that. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is combat styles. There are basically 2 main types of combat styles. There's force combat styles and tech combat styles, as I call them. And then we'll go over each of them in some detail here. So we'll start off with the tech ones. Each of them are going to be based around the type of weapon that you use. So Commando uses an assault cannon. Vanguard will use a blaster rifle. They're kind of your run-in, jump, fight. And you can read kind of the description here. Unstoppable and utterly fearless. Vanguards are the first and best line of defense and the most impressive militaries in the galaxy. Mercenaries, parablasters, deadly heat-seeking missiles, and heavy armor to make the mercenary a mobile weapons platform. There's no problem extra firepower can't solve, and no one with sense gets between a mercenary and their target. You know, each of them has their own individual uses, and you can even see here, these roles that are here give you a little bit of information as to what they're doing. So Gunslinger is all damage. Power Tech here you can see has defense plus melee, damage over time plus melee, direct damage plus melee. Mercenary is all ranged. It kind of like gives you a little bit more information about what each of the individual combat styles will look like for the tech ones. And then these are the Force ones. Force ones, there is Sentinel, which is double-bladed lightsabers, which is all, well, not double-bladed, sorry, 2 lightsabers, all damage. And then there is Guardian, which is a one-handed lightsaber. They're your tank, mostly for those. And then there is Shadow. They use saber staves. And Sage, and they're sort of your more force. They're like your use the force, do a lot of damage / healing that way. Like your powerful like mage type class, I guess is the best way to describe them. Each of these really, again, are going to fit more for your playstyle. It's okay if you are playing through and you decide, oh my gosh, I don't like each of these. I want to delete my character and start over, try a different one. That's totally fine. Don't fret about it. You don't have to worry about doing things wrong. There's no wrong way to do things. Play the game how you want. Find what works for you. Have fun. That's the goal of the game. If you're doing something and you're not having fun, that's where things are going to become a problem. Have fun. So for this specifically, I'm going to be playing Jedi Consular Sage. Also, to prevent spoilers for story content, I am going to be just skipping through cutscenes, so don't worry about that. I'm also just going to speed run character customization. So there's character customization. There's a lot of options. Play around with it. Find something you like. Don't. Well, you can stress about it if you want. That's your choice, I guess. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do with that. But you have your thing. Do what you want with it. Find what works for you. Find what doesn't work. Make the character that you want. One of the things that's really fun about SWTOR or just MMOs in general that I've been doing recently is I've been writing backstories for my characters. which has been really fun, honestly, just going through creating a character and then giving them like motivations for who they are, why they do what they do, what drives them to be who they are, what motivates them. So the character that I'm creating here, he is a character that is going to be very motivated by his curiosity of the Force. That's why I'm creating a sage. And I'm using this specific race. So, I'll talk about this real quick. Some of the races here are locked behind legacies or whether or not you're a subscriber. So, I'm a subscriber, so some of these species that I have, I can use just purely because I am a subscriber. Some of them, you get access as a free-to-play player to human, Zabrak, and cyborg. You can use these 3 right here. The rest of these you will have to either sub to the game to use or purchase in the cartel market or using credits on your legacy. But we will get to legacies in a moment. That will probably be actually, legacy might be its own guide just because there's so much to go into legacies. I kind of want to just go over those in a way that will be like a lot more beneficial and we can be a little bit more detailed. But I'll at least like hover over what legacies are so that way you guys don't have to feel like I'm just completely ignoring them. And then you can kind of get like a basic idea of legacies before you fully jump into the game. Now, actually, I think I like that mask. Cool. All right, so we've got our guy. Once you got his name or their name, whatever you want to do, click play, you'll jump in. So I've played the starting planet for the Jedi Consular 1,000 times over, so I'm not gonna. And I know the story of the starting story for the Jedi Consular a bunch as well, so I'm not gonna like um I'm not gonna sit through all the cutscenes. I'm just gonna skip through them, so that way I'm not like overwhelming everything. And I don't want to just okay. All right. So, when you jump in, there's going to be a lot, as you can see. You know, I've barely even jumped in, and there's a lot of stuff. You even saw that immediate window that popped up. I don't even know how to pull that one back up. So, we're going to go over this real quick. So, first things first, don't panic. Okay? You're gonna have a tutorial thing that's gonna pop up. I don't have my tutorial alerts on, but I'll turn it on here. You'll have these tutorial pop-ups here. Take your time to read them. They're gonna teach you how to play. If you've never played an MMO before, these are very useful. All of these are gonna be really nice to have. Read these. I'm gonna go over some of this stuff as well. But I want to just make sure that you understand that those are there. If you decide later on that you want them off after you've played and you kind of know what you're looking for, you have what you need, you're good to go. You'll hit escape to open your options menu. You go into preferences. Under user interface, show tutorial alerts. You can turn that off, hit apply. Okay, so there's that. Boom, done. A couple of other things I do while we have this on. I go to social, and I always turn on auto ignore guild invites because I don't want random people to invite me to their guild. People will do that all the time. It's kind of annoying, so I just turn it off. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean up this user interface. So this is the welcome window. This tells you, hey, login rewards. You know, we'll go ahead and we'll grab that. Now I've got a 20k credit certification, which is really nice for this character to start off with. Welcome window's up here. You can turn it off just like that. Boom, done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No big cheese about that one. You've got that, and now you're pretty much good to go. I have a ton of hotbars. That's just because of what I have for my character. I'm not gonna like freak out too much about it. And then we can go ahead and we can start schmoving. The next thing, actually, we'll talk about here is the interface editor. So if you can take some time and you can move things around however you want. Your utility bar, anything you want to move exactly how you want to set it up. Okay? Take whatever time you need, set up your quick bars, snap anything however you want. Take your time to do this, because if your UI is not how you want it, it will make the game miserable. So take the time, make the UI what you want, have fun with that, okay? Don't stress out about it. It's part of the experience. I have a specific preset that I use, so I turn that on. Okay? And then I also am going to quickly change the keybind. So if you want to change key bindings, because I have a specific MMO mouse that I use, and so I'll want to make sure that I can use specific buttons, I go into preferences. Down at the bottom here is key bindings, and I go into quick bar. And then I will change these. And then quick bar 2. I bind as well. And then I will bind quick bar slot 3, or quick bar 3 slot 1. But that is because I use some very specific information, which I'll show when I get into here. I use the rocket boost. I use that. That's my own thing that I use. That's a me thing. We'll go over that in a second. Actually, we'll go over that right now. So, legacies. We'll talk about that here. So, when you hit level 10, you will get legacies. There's going to be a lot to look at here. Okay? For the most part, the main things you're going to want to be focused on when you start out are character perks and perks for global unlocks. These are the things you want to focus on, spending credits on. Perks are individual characters, and perks are your account. You can do all of that here in the legacy menu. The next thing you want to look at are the companions and achievements. Okay? All of these achievements here. The more, this basically gives you things that you can do to help you progress. These gives you things you can look at. They give you rewards for your legacy. Basically, don't ignore it. Certain perks that you want to get are going to require certain legacy levels. Legacy level 12, you can see for that one. Legacy level 50, legacy level 8, legacy level 20. You know, there's a lot that is required. So you are going to want to make sure that you are spending time working on your legacy. That is going to be a massive priority. Legacy, see, this is here, legacy level 25. You know, working on the legacy, getting legacy experience. Don't ignore it. That's my best piece of advice that I can give you. You know, you're going to have achievements based around legacies as well. You can see I'm getting all of those. Each of these gives legacy experience. Completing quests gives legacy experience. There's legacy experiences that are available for each individual, like questing, story missions. There's a lot. Okay? There's stuff for Alderaan. You know, you can do a bunch of stuff on Alderaan. Story missions on Alderaan. You know, they give you so many things to look at and work on. And I just want you to know there's a lot to do in the game. Now, this is going to be overwhelming, but do this at your own pace. You know, don't get too overwhelmed, because you can do this at your own pace. You can do this with multiple different characters. Okay? So, just relax and enjoy what the game has to offer. Alright? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take our first taxi.
Greetings.
We're going to head over to the Gnarls. So you'll see on my map here, if you want the map there, you'll hit Alt-M on your keyboard, and you can switch how your map is. I like having my map this way because I like being able to see everything. So on your map here, there are going to be a bunch of different icons. This here is a dynamic encounter. Dynamic encounters are the equivalent of an area event. Basically an event that is like set up specifically for a location. So Flesh Raider Assault. If we run over into this area, it'll show up on my quest log up here. And all we gotta do is fight Flesh Raiders, and we will then get experience for it. So we're just gonna go ahead and work on clearing this out. But this is really just the dynamic encounters. They're really simple. They're very easy to get into. They all... the nice part too about most dynamic encounters is you will get joint experience from the dynamic encounters with the other players. So you'll see Mr. Nerdbane over there, or Miss Nerdbane. Yeah, Miss Nerdbane is level 54 working on this encounter. She is clearing out fires and fighting Flesh Raiders, but we are also getting progress for that. So that's really nice, because then we can just do other things, and we don't have to feel panicked about what we're doing and feel like we have to rush to do this whole thing ourselves. We can take our time, we can do what we gotta do, and we will get through the encounter. But now we got the hulking Flesh Raider, who's gonna be this big boy, who I want to fight, but I don't think I can solo him at this point, so I want Morrowind to show up here, because a level 54 tanking that is gonna be much better for us. And we can just keep throwing out our one spells. Boom, we finished it. We accept the reward. We're done. Those are dynamic encounters. When you are questing around, there are going to be a bunch of different quests that you can do. Okay? There are purple quests. Those are your story quests. These are the ones that you are going to want to focus on. If you're going to do nothing else in the game, focus on the purple quests. Okay? Always, always, always focus on the purple quests. That's the best piece of advice that I can tell you there. Okay? Next thing, dynamic encounters. Just went over those. And then the last thing is side quests. Side quests are going to have a specific... they're going to have a specific icon to them. They're going to look like this. If they have like a green dot over, like right here, that's going to be the planetary side mission. That's going to be like a side storyline. Some of those are really interesting. So if you're interested in those, you can do that. And I think you might actually be able to enjoy those. So feel free to have fun with that one. Don't shy away from that. You can enjoy some of those if you want. With a nice one of the things to know about SWTOR is it's really easy to get over leveled. It is really easy to get over leveled. So if you are going to just focus on anything, just focus on your main story. Don't worry about every other aspect. Just get through your main story, and then as long as you do that, you can, as long as you just get through your main story, you'll be right on track for continuing through your getting to cap fine. So like right now I'm on my main, I'm level 70, and I'm still like I'm 4 expansions behind the current one right now, and I'm 10 levels away from cap. So, which granted, some of the expansions have happened, didn't have a cap increase, but that's again a whole other thing. So those are pretty much the main things you need to know. I really hope I didn't miss anything. Oh, actually there's one other thing I'm going to talk about. There is going to be a mail terminal. You'll probably start out with an absurd amount of mail, Now, because I've been playing for over a decade, I have a lot of mail. You can just go over, grab everything. You'll get, like, mounts and things like that. Just grab everything. You can get through it. You don't need to read it most of the time. You can just... If you want to read it, you can. I'm not going to tell you not to. But don't feel like you have to go through and read, oh, thank you for being a member of the Star Wars The Old Republic community. You know, you don't need to do that. Or especially when you say, if you want to experience the epic saga, subscribers have the ability to create a level 70 character. You don't need to worry about that. You know, just... Oh, I did not want to grab all of those. We'll just delete that. But see, you can get a ton of stuff in your mailbox that can be overwhelming, and now my inventory is basically full. So, go through that. Don't stress out about it. Some of the things can be overwhelming, but thankfully, you can take things at whatever pace you want. Never feel like you have to rush to get anything done. Okay, play at your own pace. If you rush and you feel like you can't get through things quickly, then you are only going to make things less fun for you. So just relax, enjoy the ride, and have fun. That's the best pieces of advice that I can give to you. Relax and have fun. Because if you're not having fun, then there's no point. Okay? That's the best advice that I can give you. From Quinalor, the Jedi Sage, who now actually has some pretty dope looking armor, if I'm going to be completely honest. These are bound to me, but they have no value, so we're just going to get rid of them. So, those are the main things that I wanted to go over and just talk about in regards to getting started in Star Wars The Old Republic. I really hope that this was helpful. I know it can be really overwhelming when you watch like a 20-minute guide. I don't want to overwhelm anybody, because honestly the game does do a really good job at explaining a lot of these things, and I think it's really easy for you to just kind of jump in and get through the game. And I do think SWTOR is one of the best MMOs to play if you've never played an MMO before. I just have this mission of making my two favorite games and my two favorite MMOs as accessible as possible. So I wanted to make a big new player guide and just do a big getting started thing. If there's anything you want more detailed guides on and you're like, hey, what are these? What are they useful for? Why should I do them? Let me know down in the comments below, and I would love to be able to make a guide on those, so that way I can just help to, again, make things more interesting and easier for people to understand, because it can be difficult and overwhelming and scary. So there's that. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and that will be the end of this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want anything else or more information on SWTOR. And we will see you right back here in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.